What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Let's get started. So we're sitting at about $534.20 right now. Had a little bit of a red day yesterday. I swear, you guys, if I couldn't see the price of Bitcoin Cash, if I didn't have access to charts or anything, but all I had access to were my YouTube comments, I would have thought Bitcoin Cash did something like this yesterday. The amount of negative comments and worried, emotional comments, distressed comments that I got yesterday, all it made me want to do was it made me want to grab you by the head and go, stop it. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Just stop it. It's fine. It's fine. You know who you are. It's fine, right? Bitcoin Cash, be patient, you guys. Just because Bitcoin itself moved up 1.5% and it saw new all-time highs does not mean Bitcoin Cash has to move up, right? We've seen this before. We saw it last time. And Bitcoin Cash, overall, this whole move, it's actually performed better than Bitcoin has, like truthfully. In my opinion, it started off this move here. That was a 9% day. Bitcoin Cash here, it started off its move with a 10% day, right? And just because yesterday it failed to move up while Bitcoin was moving up doesn't mean that it's going to fail to move up later, right? It will move up. It will catch up to what Bitcoin's been doing and surpass it. It likely will surpass it. It's moving at a faster pace overall. I just think that it's waiting for that altcoin kick. Maybe it starts today, maybe it starts tomorrow, but I would assume sometime soon we're waiting for that next move up that will take us above this high here at about $640, and not only that, but take us above this high as well, right? This is that kind of, I think, last consolidation before we run up. And let's actually look back at this run up that we had here, up at about $720. Okay, whenever we found our top here, if we drew a box, we kind of consolidated in this area for a little bit, right? You broke out of the box, you moved down, and then you consolidated in this zone, didn't you? Well, now, and you move down lower. We had our sideways box for a while. Now we're up here. Now we're consolidating in this box right here from a low point kind of to a high point right over here, right? And our low point of this box is at the high point of this box. Our high point of this box is at the low point of this box. We're consolidating in like the in-between range, and obviously the low point goes a little bit lower than the high points here. The high point here goes a little bit higher than the low points here, but you get what I'm saying. This consolidation phase is basically sandwiched between these two. My theory would be that when we break above this high here at $633, $640, break above that high, we're not going to stop here. We're going to go to the next phase, right? We're consolidating between these two. Above this one, that's bullish. Above this one here, that's bullish. Above previous areas of resistance, that's bullish. Just below our relative cycle highs, just below there, what rejected us and set us on a multi-month, a several month, a half a year long consolidation phase. We're consolidating just below that. Where last time we were in this area for like a third of the time that we're in it now. You guys, we're getting ready to rip. That's why maybe Bitcoin, it's been consolidating like this sideways since November 11th. It's been kind of moving up, consolidating sideways, where Bitcoin Cash hasn't really been consolidating until like November 23rd. You know what I mean? So that's a whole 2 weeks later, essentially. Right, and it started consolidating 2 weeks later. Essentially, Bitcoin's been consolidating 2 weeks more. It's got the leg up on it. It makes sense Bitcoin might break out before Bitcoin Cash does, but Bitcoin Cash is right behind it, you guys. And again, I do suspect that when we break above this high at 640, we're going to demolish that high that we put in at 720 there. So I think it's very appropriate to take this high here to this low here and project out. And I love it whenever what I say lines up exactly with what we're seeing in the fibs, because everything I've just said could go out the window. We could start the video from here saying from a high to a low. Anytime you have a retracement, when you break above the 886 zone, you're likely to go to your 1272 to 1618 area. What was I just saying before we had the fibs? Likely, because of where you're consolidating, when you break this high, you're going to crush this high. You're going to go through it, right? That's what I literally just said. So if we bring the fibs back on, if we're going to crush it, if we're going to go through it, the target areas that we're given are anything from $930 to $1,300, right? Looking at the consolidation that we're having now, I wouldn't say that I'm expecting that we'll just tear right through the 1272, 1414 and go all the way up to the 1618. There's plenty of coins that are consolidating at their 1886 or at their 886, 100 area. There's plenty of coins that hit their 1272 already and they're consolidating like this. Those coins I have no problem calling to go for their 1618, or higher. Bitcoin Cash, I have a little bit more of a hard time calling for that confidently. I do believe that Bitcoin Cash will see these targets by the end of January. I definitely do believe that it will see those targets, if not higher, by the end of January. But by the end of this month, and as far as like turbulence goes, where are we going to go to next with how much respect we've shown on this this fib range so far, I would expect we could find a little turbulence here at the 1272, maybe at just below $1,000. Perhaps what we do is we go just above the 1272, we hit $1,000 for resistance, psychological resistance, then we pull back to the 1272 to find support before heading up higher to the 1618 and beyond. I don't know how it's going to look, but all that being said, when we break above the 886 based off the fib analysis, when we break above this high based off of the consolidation analysis, whatever you want to call that first half of the video, it's very likely that Bitcoin Cash just rips right on up to that $930, if not higher area, right? And Bitcoin Cash, guys, it's been so pent up. It's been so cooped up. We all know it has, right? I'm going to talk about the same stuff that we all talk about. This is something that I love, though, man. I mean, it might get old for some people day in and day out, but you know what? It's old now. We're going to miss the days where we were at the precipice of breaking out of this, guys. It's very exciting. And it might seem not so exciting because this is the third week now that we've been near this line, but we're not getting above it, right? We've gone above it, but then came back below it. It's the third week, now that we've been in this area. I get that it seems boring, but once we break above this area, you guys, there's no going back. We're not going to break above it and then come all the way back down here and then go on a cycle rally run. No, that's very likely not going to happen. I mean, maybe we break right above it and we pull back immediately and then we go. Maybe something like that happens, a very quick wick, maybe. But genuinely, the further away we get away, especially when we hit that $1,000 area and beyond, we're not looking back. We're not going back down. We're only going up, right, from there. So I forget what got me on that tangent. Let's go back, right? Talking about potentially consolidating up here instead of pulling back. Normally, when you hit this area, I would call for you to pull back to your 886, 100 area, something in this zone. The reason why I'm not calling for that now is because you've got this overall predominant breakout coming your way from this overall multi-cycle descending trend line that you have. You're about to break out of that. So personally, I don't think you stop at the 1272. If you don't stop at the 1272, you go to the 1414. Maybe you could stop there momentarily. It's possible. But I do think at least the 1300 level is where we're going to go by the end of January. We don't have to see that by the end of the year, but by the end of January. And personally, again, these targets, they haven't shifted. I'm sticking true to those targets by the end of this move. The only thing that's changed about it was I thought these targets would be here by the end of December. They still could be. It's very possible, you guys. We don't know what we're dealing with this breakout. It could be immaculate. It could be better than anything in crypto over the next 3 weeks. It really could be. But let's keep our feet on the ground. Let's stay a little bit level-headed, right? That the more likely target would be probably 1,300 to 1,000 by the end of December. By the end of January, 1,300 to 1,900, probably 1,700 by the end of January is what I would expect. And that end of January target that I keep talking about, we can give a date to it, right? It's going to be Trump's inauguration, which I believe is January 20th, right? Trump inauguration. Inauguration, it's with an I. Date, 2025. January 20th. So my assumption, let's just see if that's the 20th of January. Let's go on a daily basis here real quick. I'm going to delete all this stuff so it's just more clear. January 20th is a Monday. Okay. It's a Monday to kick off the week. The week just ended. Maybe we get a pump on that day, and that is the literal top, and then we sell off. I don't know. My thoughts are across the space, right? Trump is a pro-crypto guy. His administration, his cabinet, everything about him is pro-crypto, right? So I think a lot of people are going to receive his inauguration as a bullish event for crypto, and probably for the markets as a whole. So there's this old saying in the space, and you guys all know it. I know I'm speaking to the right crowd here with the Dragon Riders, that buy the hype, sell the news, right? The hype that we're going to buy, and you should start buying it now because we're about a month out, is the Trump inauguration. The news that you should sell is the Trump inauguration. It's going to be a bullish thing, right? And normally that's what happens with buy the hype, sell the news events, right? Like let's say Bitcoin Cash just got accepted as legal tender in China, right? President Xi wants to adopt Bitcoin Cash and make it the Bitcoin competitor to America's Bitcoin, right? Like if that happened, okay, that's really bullish stuff, right? The rumors and stuff happen, but as soon as that news comes out, whenever we hear that, right, it makes sense that it pumped. All the insider information sent this thing pumping, but whenever we get that news coming out, you'll probably dump off immediately. But inevitably, that good news promotes larger growth over time, right? It's bullish. It is bullish fundamentally, and over time, that bullish stuff will prosper But oftentimes, when the bullish news comes out, there's people who know about it ahead of time, who plan for it ahead of time, and we get that price manipulated ahead of time. Then all the dumb money, that's why people are called dumb money, they hear all this bullish news, all these rhetorics that are being promoted by the news. Trump just got elected for president, crypto's pumping, this is going to be the best crypto cycle ever. You're going to hear all the headline newses, but the thing is they're not talking about it down here. They're only going to talk about it when it's up here, whenever it's time to probably to sell. And this bubble's coming in at around $1,000. That's not where I think Bitcoin, I think it's going to go higher, obviously. I'm drawing these arbitrarily wherever I want to. But essentially, guys, all I'm trying to say is I do think that the end of January is going to be a sell the news event. I do think that it's probably going to be tailored to the Trump inauguration, whether it's directly on that day, the week before the event, the week after the event, something around that time frame, I think will trigger a sell-off in the markets. And it's going to seem backwards because it's going to be very bullish environments, very bullish news that's coming out. And that's kind of my expectation. I'm telling you this now so you can both get prepared mentally for when it comes time to sell, that you might be in a euphoric bullish phase. Everything seems perfect. How could we get down? So you can prepare for that now and be aware of the circumstances that are coming. And then also prepare for that financially in the sense of, we've got a pump to come. We've got to buy the hype, sell the news events to come. So you can buy the hype now before it really starts to take off. And then you can sell the news if you want to do a short-term trade. I mean, it's probably going to be foolproof, more or less. But nothing ever is. You never know, right? Nothing's promised. So I guess I'll leave you guys with that. Nothing's promised, man. I do believe that Bitcoin Cash will see prices at least at $1,300 by the end of January, if not as high as like $1,900 or more. Again, we really don't know what kind of beast we're dealing with. It is a dragon after all, right? We've tailored that name to this coin for a reason, right? Don't underestimate it. You never know how high it could go. But my estimations are 1,300 to 1,700, 1,900, something like that by the end of January. 1,300 to 1,000 by the end of this month. So over the next 15 days. And we've got a lot higher targets than that by the end of this cycle, right? But this by the end of this move, it'll definitely help us determine where the cycle will end. Yada, yada, yada. I'm just saying the same stuff, the same rhetoric that I normally portray here. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. The next move, which I do think will be the biggest move, bigger than that move, bigger than that move, bigger than anything we've seen this cycle. It is coming. It is right upon us. We are in the middle of it right now, my friends. If Bitcoin Cash is boring you, just hold your breath for a day. Well, maybe don't literally, right? Don't kill yourself, but just wait is all I'm trying to say. Just go to bed. Go to bed for a week. Go to bed for a day. It's going to catch up. It's going to be exciting. And as is common or historical with Bitcoin Cash in the middle of a bull cycle, it might even be the top performer at various points on any given 24-hour or 7-day period, and then nobody will mention it, even though it is the top performer. So we've got those days ahead of us. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.